Hi everyone, Paul at ISM. Before we get going today, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the little bell to get notified of all the latest videos, give us a thumbs up, and if you wish, leave a comment. I answer them all. If it's just a hello, question, whatever, feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, this is important guys, everything I show you in this video is in the link in the description down below in the video. It's the first link at the top. Click it, takes you to the forum, and there's a big long 90+ long list with links to everything, where you can buy it from. So if you see stuff in the video, think, oh, I quite like to get one of those, go click on the link, you'll probably find it in there. If you get stuck, message me and I'll always help you out. So, welcome to part 8 of the Tamiya Honda Rc211v build. Second most stressful part of the build for me, which is the clear coat. Decon being the first, they went down great, no problem at all. But for me, this is second most stressful. I've had issues with 2 sets of Tamiya decals before with the 2K, both on the same kit, over a year apart, same decals, and the 2K just crazed them and ate them alive. I've never had that reaction on 70+ other cars and bikes I've built. Literally that particular one, I proved it by using the spoon with the same decals, putting a barrier coat over one set and not on the other, and the barrier coat decals were fine. So this is always nerve-wracking, and yes, I did this last night at 10 PM. And to say I was nervous is an understatement, but yeah, we're going to be using the Pro Range 2K through the Apex, same way we've done it before. There's a full video on using Pro Range further back in the channel. If you want to see an in-depth guide of doing it, go have a look at that. But it's basically a tack coat with 2:1 clear to hardener, 15 minutes, 5% thinner, another pretty wet coat, 15 minutes, add another 10% thinner, and then a full wet coat, and then that's it, leave it be. Don't completely cremate small parts like this in the 2K because it'll look awful. It's very easy to overspray and put on too heavy on smaller bits, so take your time. It's not a car body, you've got smaller parts, it's very, very easy to put too much on, so really take your time doing it. So yes, so let's jump straight into the video. We're going to start off with mounting all the parts for spraying, because these need to be mounted pretty securely. You don't want these falling off. Completely different spraying a car. With a car you've got the body, wing mirrors and a spoiler maybe. With a bike you've got like 10 separate components and you've got to keep them all away from each other. Make sure they don't touch anything. It is a bit of a nightmare and it can be stressful, so take your time doing it is my advice. There we are. Let's jump into the video, let's get going, and let's see where we get to. Right, so all our parts are laid out. Now what I've done off camera is I have touched up any areas where the decals hadn't quite reached. So it was mainly black areas where the edges hadn't been covered by the decal, or areas that could be seen between panels, and all I've used is some of the Tamiya LP1 gloss black on a brush and just lightly brushed it on in the places required. Didn't want really showing, just literally if the decal hasn't quite covered, find a paint that's as close a match as possible and literally touch it up. Now what we're doing, we're mounting these for the 2K. I've got some of the Mr. Hobby crocodile clips on sticks. That's the only name I can think of them, probably called Mr. Stick Arp Holder Stick Clamp thingy from Mr. Hobby. I'm using some white tack, pushing them on until they're held on securely. Now like I said, we've got loads of components to 2K. You're really going to have to be careful here, not letting parts touch or fall off. Keep your wits about you and you'll be perfectly fine. But trust me, it's easy to knock parts together or for them to fall off. Been there, done that. Don't want it to happen again. So using plenty of white tack, ensuring it's firmly secured in place. Obviously be careful of the parts. If you've got 2 parts glued together, you don't be applying loads of pressure because you stand a chance of snapping them. You also don't be damaging your decals or any of the paint on top. So just bear that in mind and make sure you're not damaging parts by accident. But securely mount them is what we're after here. And these sticks are perfect for that job. So just line everything up, make sure we're straight, make sure it's not going to fall off. Happy with that. Once we're happy, we can put them all down, get them mounted in our part holders and get cracking with the 2K. So once you've got them on the parts, give them a wipe over with a cloth to get any fingerprints off, any residue you left behind from your grubby mitts, and then you can put them to one side and move on to the other parts. So with the front cowling fairing, I normally put a little stick inside, but with this I've managed to get the crocodile clip over the top. It's really nice and secure. I'm just going to have a little check, give it a good shake around and everything, and yeah, it won't fall off. So pretty happy with that. So that's that one taken care of. And then all the others are now done similar ways, mostly with white tack. As you can see on this last side fairing, just making sure it's securely mounted. Also make sure that the white tack doesn't overhang anywhere or anywhere where you need 2K inside, and just make sure it's out of the way. You don't want to be getting areas that don't get cleared that need to be cleared because your white tack's in the way. So once you're happy they're all secured, we need to mount them for spraying. So I have the U-Star part holders. Everything I'm showing you here is linked in the description down below. Click the first link. It'll take you to the forum with a big long list of products. But these little U-Star holders are ideal. What we're going to do, we're going to space all these parts around so they can't touch. Equal distance, they're not going to touch the edge, they're not going to fall off. And that way we shouldn't have any issues when we're going. We're going to use 2 of them in total. The name of the game here is to make sure nothing touches. As you can see, I'm just giving that a spin to make sure it's fully secured. Quite happy with that. A little double check. Yeah, it's better the other way. There you go. You were right first time, Paul. No, still unsure. We get there in the end. There we go. So because of the way the nose is, there's a little part underneath and the clamp just kind of sits in there. So it does give it a real nice secure fitting. Other parts, all separate. The wheels, as you can see, all spaced apart evenly. As is this part, all nice and secure. They're not going to fall out. Happy days. Pro Range 2K, again, I've got a video of this on the channel. You can go have a look. We've got the clear, the hardener, and the thinner. We've got our 190 micron paint strainer. Our gloves are on. And we've got our medical grade medicine cups as well. So I'm going to 2-to-1 mix here. Now, with the beauty of this 2K, because it's so cheap, it's like £20 per litre. It doesn't matter if you mix too much. So I always overmix. So we're going for 15ml of clear and 7.5ml of hardener. Like I say, I'd rather mix too much and throw a bit away than have to remix halfway through. So I always mix way more than I need. Like I say, a litre of this stuff is dirt cheap. So I am not too bothered about wasting it at all. Make sure you've got all your protection on. So you should at the very least have gloves on. Keep your arms covered. All skin covered. You should have a good respirator. I've got a very, very good respirator, which I'll show you in a second. Good extractor. Make sure you're in a well-vented room, a clean room as well, as you'll see in a minute. This room is hoovered the day before, cleaned out. There's our 7.5ml of hardener. Give it a good mix till it clears up. It'll go cloudy and then it'll clear as it's mixed. Yeah, the room is fully cleaned. The spray booth is empty, cleaned out, fresh filter, fresh towel on the bottom, everything to minimize dust. I'll leave the window cracked open a touch. The door's shut. Like I said, I've got my full face respirator on. I've got a double glove on the left hand because that's the hand that will get sprayed on. Single glove on the right. And, you know, it's as much safety concerns as possible with this 2K. It's not nice stuff at all. Make sure you read up on any of the precautions. Always spray inside your strainer as well, because I find you get a lot of dust and muck in there. Obviously, it shouldn't go through the paint, but I always blow through from the reverse side. Strain the 2K. Once you're happy, put the strainer to one side and throw it in the bin. So we've got our apex. This is my dedicated 2K apex. It's 0.35. We're at 30 psi. As you've seen, I've just covered up the 2K with another medicine cup to stop any muck landing in there, overspray, etc., etc., and that's how I do it. Got a bottle of water. I really should have a spray, but I keep forgetting, so I always use my bottle of water. And we're going to wet the entire surface of the kitchen paper. This then stops any dust that lands on there from lifting back up and landing in our finish. And again, it's a step well worthwhile doing. Just now make sure you don't put any parts down in the water, pipettes, so on and so forth. You don't want to contaminate the 2K clear coat. So how we're going to do this today, we're going to put a very fine mist coat on to begin with. making sure that it's all fully covered, but literally just a fine mist coat all around. So we blew off the part first with the airbrush air, get the dust or whatever off. I've also given all the parts a run over with the anti-static brush from Tamiya because I find that works really well as well. Like I said, we're going to go around all the parts and give it a very light mist coat, our very first tack coat. Making sure we get all those little recesses where the intakes are, all the parts around the top and the sides as well. Where the body panels meet, they need 2K in as well. But we're not going for any kind of coverage, we're literally getting a mist coat on. We're angling the part towards the light so we can see the mist coat going down. Like I say, just pay attention to all your edges, recesses, vents and so on. Make sure you get nice, even coverage. We'll then put this to one side for 15 minutes and come back with our wetter coat. So obviously different parts require a different approach. Loads of different multiple angles on this front cowl. So start with the easiest. So for me that was underneath. You got underneath, you got the sides, you got the main part of the front, you got the inside of the visor mount, you got the edges at the back as well. And underneath, you've got multiple angles on this. Now, there was a bit of a pucker moment here. A little bit of a reaction on that gold. You can see it starting to just craze a touch. Now, metal decals are very finicky. They were doing this when we were being set. So, I was twitching a little bit, thinking, uh-oh. But after it dried, they settled down quite a bit. And for a minute, I thought, oh no, here we go again. You can see me having a good look, like, uh-oh. But in the end, it turned out fine. We did get a slight reaction, which I'll show you in a little bit. But I've got a feeling that was down to me applying the decals rather than the 2K. Wheels, again, mounted up. Give them a little turn as you go. Just take your time with the smaller part. It's so easy to put too much down on smaller parts. I can't stress that enough. And just really take your time. So that was a mix of 2-to-1 clear. Now we're going to add some thinner. So we're going to add 5% to whatever's left in that medicine cup. Off the top of my head, it was 18ml, I think. So we're going to add 0.9ml of thinner. So measure it as exact as we can. We pop it in. As you can see, it goes cloudy again. Get a good stir up. And again, we're going to leave this for 15 minutes. Well, we have left it for 15 minutes. You can see it's cleared up nicely now. Throw away the pipette, we're not using that again. We've got some thinner in there. Tip the excess away, spray off the rest. Load up your colour cup. Put your lid over your 2K again. Test spray, and we're ready for our first wet coat. Now, we're not coming in with a full, hard wet coat. We're going to come in with a semi-wet coat. So not massively wet, but we're getting the wet coat down. We want even coverage all around. Start with the wheels this time. As you can see, we're getting all the edges, then we come into the centres, and then we get the outside edges as well. And again, what we're looking for is a lack of orange peel. Not 100% on this coat, because we don't want to put two really heavy wet coats down, but we're getting a wet coat down, getting even coverage all around, and making sure we're not left with any masses of orange peel. So you can see on this now, we're coming to the end of the second coat now. Just having a good look around to make sure we've got nice even coverage. Again, we're part of multiple angles, just take your time. Just have a look, make sure you've got all those areas covered. If you do need to reload your 2K, make sure you cover it back up when you're done. Come back in, and again, side fairings, first semi-wet coat. You'll get used to spraying your 2K in your own way. I've kind of honed this over the last year to a point where I'm happy and I get a good finish out the gun. So you'll pick your own way, but it's a good starting point to use. So that's our second coat done. I'm not showing all the parts because we'll be here all day. This is our third coat. So now what we're doing is adding 10% of thinner. So if I remember right, there was 12ml left. So we've added 1.2ml of thinner now. Mix it up again. Like I say, I'm not going to show all the parts being 2K because we'll be here all day. If you want to watch a full 2K video, I have one on the Subaru using this 2K, and I have a dedicated separate video as well. So with our fully thinned 10%, well, it's 15% thin now, 2K, we're coming in with our full wet coat, and again, make sure we get all the angles. And what we're looking for is even coverage. Go all around it. Once you're done, have a look at the part closely. Any orange peel, give it another go over. If it's not, put it to one side and leave it alone. What we want to get rid of is that orange peel, because if it's there now, it will more than likely be there when it dries. So it's a fine line between getting rid of the orange peel and putting too much down. Like I say, the more you use the product, the more you get used to it. And practice makes perfect, literally. As you can see, we get all our main coat down, and then I'll spray the front and back where the parts join. Once you're happy, put the part down and leave it alone. As long as you've got no orange peel, it is fine. Now, this is literally the favourite part of this bike for me. I was talking about this to Chunk, who's another Aussie. I'm not an Aussie. There's another Aussie that joins our Hangouts, and for me, this is the part that's iconic on the bike, with the Aussie flag, the stars, the Michelin Man, and this beautiful blue. It's a striking part of the bike, and definitely my favourite part. So, there we go. Next morning now. All the parts have dried for about 12 hours now, and they've come out fantastic. Very, very happy with this. We've got one little reaction on the front cowling, but I think it's more where I had an issue with the decaling process, because I did think I had a little bit of a mark in the goal, but I wasn't totally sure. But very happy with this. Once this is fully cured for 5 to 7 days, we'll flat it, give it a good polish up, and it'll look striking. So this is the part now. If you look bottom left on the gold stripe, where it angles off, you will see I've got a little piece missing, and I think that's where it was in the decaling phase. There it is there. You can just see it. It's a shame, but there's nothing we can do now, and I'm not really all that bothered. It's not a highly visible section there. Just one of those things. But for the rest of it, absolutely perfect. We've got a great finish out the airbrush. Very, very happy with that. Got nice even coverage. We've got a nice gloss to begin with. There's no orange peel. Once we flat it and polish it up, it'll get rid of that toyish look. And I'm very, very happy with that. Really, really nice. And my favourite part is front fairing. Fender. Again, very nice. That blue has turned out beautiful. The decals look excellent. And with that 2K on there, I am very, very happy with that. Beautiful finish. And our wheels came out well as well. So, yeah, a nerve-wracking part out the way. To say I was nervous, yeah, to use a quote Chunk told me, I was as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But, all good. We're all fine. So, these can be left to cure. Once they're done, we can flat them back. But we don't need these parts now till the end. All we need is the wheels, which is why we're 2K'd now. And now we can progress with the rest of the build. But the wheels have come out well. Very happy with those as well. Not much to look at really, they're just a black wheel, but happy with the finish. Like I say, now we can really progress with the build. Now all the hard stuff's out of the way. Okay, there we go. Whew. Relief, yes, massively. Everything went really, really well. Probably a little bit heavy on the wheels on one side, but not everything can be perfect. If anybody says it is, it's lying. It's one of those. But we can flat those back a touch when they're dry. Give them a polish up. This is the beauty of 2K. Because it's such a hard-wearing, product clear. You can really sand it back. So if you do put too much on, if you do get a run, if it's a little bit heavy in places, you can flat it back. Give it a good polish up with some decent polishes like the Novus or Compounds or whatever. And you can get it to look a bit more realistic. They look okay out the gun. It's the best finish you'll get out the airbrush by far, but it does benefit from being flatted. Removing any of that excess paint or clear and then polishing it to a higher level, it really does benefit from it. And I have videos back in the channel. I'll show it to a degree in here, but again, if you go to the Subaru build, I show it in depth how I do it using the micro mesh and polishes, and you'll get a much, much better finish. Again, it's the same thing I've said all along. Preparation and attention to detail is the key with this. The more time you put into it, the better finish you'll get. And, you know, it can look a bit OCD or anal to some people, but if you want to get the best out of something, it's going to take you time. It's as simple as that. And this is no different at all. Everything on these bikes is visible, especially with the magnetic fairings I've got. You're going to see everything on this bike when they come off. So there's no hiding of anything. So, you know, like the guy left the comments about the hose clamps, I've got them now. They arrived. Awesome. I got them from Spot Model. You know, he said it was a shame not to have the hose clamps. And I sat there thinking about it. I thought, you know what, he's right. I couldn't find them to begin with, and I went on a real good hunt around and managed to find some. Not the particular ones I was after, but I managed to find some. And I was thinking, you know what, just that little extra step will make a bit of difference, and it's worth doing. But as I always say to everybody, you gotta have a hobby, what you put into it, whether it be time, money, dedication, whatever. For some people, this is an hour or two a week, sitting there chilling out. To others, it's, you know, every day. It's my job at the end of the day, really, with UMP and ISM. So, you know, you'll get out of it as much as you gave. It's a bit of a, you know, blah, blah, blah by me, but it's true. You'll always get out of it as much as you give in. So it's one of those things, and that's up to you to decide how much you put into it. The 2K is not the nicest product to use, but it's by far the best finish. There's other finishes out there. If I was going to use 2K, I'd probably go down the route of Tamiya LP9, that clear coat I tried, or TS13. The problem is, because they're so heavily thinned, if you're not careful, they will literally eat the decals alive. I've got an Escort kit in there of a semi-burnt roof decal where it ate it alive a touch. You've got to really, really take your time with it. Aquagloss is a good one, but again, you've got to build up the coats massively. Then you've got a lot of elbow work to do, and you still won't get as good a finish as 2K. So again, you know, the health risk with 2K, I've got the respirator, which is this. Yeah, like a Darth Vader, but, you know, that's not a cheap respirator. That's a 130 quid respirator. And bar air fed, that's the best I could find for doing this. You know, doing this once or twice a week in a well-vented room with good extraction, it's as good as I'm going to get at the end of the day. But it is one of those things. It is what it is. If you don't use 2K, there's other alternatives. Just take your time with it. If you're using the heavily thin ones, just, yeah, it could take you a dozen coats. Put loads of tack coats on to protect those decals. Once you've got a good cover on, you start putting your wet coats down, but you still do stand the risk of it destroying the decals. So practice, practice, practice. And there we go. That's me waffled on for enough today. We'll be back in part 9. Oh my God, we're going to have a lot of parts of this video soon. I'm just going to upload them as soon as they're done. I've got other projects to work on. I keep saying I'm going to take a break, and I can't put the bike down. So it's good. And it means you're going to get more videos as well. So that's good. Part 9's it. It should be out very soon. What we're going to probably focus on is probably get the hose clamps on the engine, get the engine in the frame, so that's safe and out of the way. And then we're probably going to work on the rear suspension, chain, and get all that back end all assembled up. We're going to leave the 2K on the wheels to dry for a couple of days, and then we'll get all that back end assembled up. So part 9 should be out pretty soon, within the next week, and we're really getting going now. All the difficult stuff's done, which is great, so we can progress and move on. So there we go. Thanks for watching today. As always, check out the Scale Modeler Facebook page and forum, umpretail.com, my Paul ISM Facebook page, the Live at the Bench page for the live show every Friday, Off Air Hangout group, and of course, if you're not subbed to the channel, click the subscribe button, hit the little bell, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment. And I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.